liquidation, and particularly the sale of mortgages to, I think it's Marsh Capital, where you stated in a previous reply that their parent company has agreed to voluntarily comply with the Code of Conduct for mortgage arrears. And I just want to know what that actually means in relation to the company that actually holds the mortgages and whether it means anything.
Thank you, Minister.
The Code of Conduct on Mortgage Arrears, the CCMA, provides a consumer protection framework to ensure that borrowers struggling to keep up mortgage repayments are treated in a fair and transparent manner by their leader, and that long-term resolution is sought by lenders with each of their borrowers. The Central Bank uses a number of methods to monitor compliance with consumer protection requirements, such as ongoing interaction with financial service providers and industry, teamed inspections, general previews on a particular topic, monitoring of financial services, advertising, market intelligence and mystery shopping. However, where a firm is not regulated, the Central Bank is not in a position to monitor voluntary compliance with the Code of Conduct on mortgage arrears. As a result, the Government brought forward the Consumer Protection Regulation of Credit Servicing Firms Bill 2015 to protect consumers. When enacted, this bill will ensure that borrowers retain the protections they had before the loan book was sold, including the protections of the Code of Conduct on mortgage arrears and the Consumer Protection Code. This bill provides for the regulation of the activity of credit servicing and the credit servicing firms engaged in such activity. This legislation will require all entities dealing with the consumer in this activity to be authorised by the Central Bank and subject to its codes of conduct. Owners of loan books who deal directly with consumers, that is, who are servicing their own loan books, will be regulated. Otherwise, they can have the loan book serviced by a regulated credit servicing firm. Either way, the entity dealing with the customer will be regulated, and this will ensure that borrowers retain the protections they had before their loan was sold. The bill was passed by the Dáil on the 17th of June, and I look forward to its discussion at second stage, which will be taken in the Shannon tomorrow, the 24th of June.
Thomas Pringle.
Thanks, Minister. And that's an outline of the Consumer Protection Bill that is going through the House at the moment, but it actually doesn't answer the question that was asked in relation to the voluntary agreement to participate in the Code of Conduct for mortgage arrears. And I can take it that the answer is it doesn't make any difference, really. In relation to the Consumer Credit Bill, how will that act retrospectively for the people who the mortgage holders are actually moving against now in terms of when this legislation is passed? Will they then retrospectively be able to look and get the protections that are covered under the CCMA at that stage? I think that's the critical question that you need to answer now in relation to it.
Thank you, Minister.
Yes, first of all, what happened was that a number of purchasers of mortgage books complied voluntarily with the Code of Practice. And what that means, if that's the precise question you want answered, is that they willingly subjected themselves to the regulations and protocols being operated by the Central Bank in respect of regulated entities. Now we're putting that on a statutory basis. And we had very good discussions during committee and report stage in the House, and it's going on now to the Shannon. And we'd hope to have it fully implemented before the recess. And it applies to all loan books which are acquired by an entity purchasing a mortgage book. It applies to all mortgages.
Thank you. Deputy Pringle.
So, if it applies to all mortgages, does it apply to all customers who the company has already started to move against in relation to calling in their mortgage and making them homeless? Does it apply to those as well, that they can have it look back at the standards were actually complied with that they said they would?
Thank you, Minister.
Yes, as you mentioned, that you referred, I think, to a company which voluntarily complied with the Code of Practice. So obviously, if they voluntarily complied, the Central Bank would ensure compliance, and that's on a statutory basis from the time the bill passes through the Senate and is signed by the President. But if there's any particular issue about a particular mortgage you have in mind, send it directly to the Central Bank or send it to me and I'll forward it to the Central Bank.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Richard Boyd Barrett is the next.